Welcome, traveler, to the Inn at the Edge of Greenwood, a cozy roleplay podcast where adventurers from many realms come to tell their tales. You won't find any dice rolls or TTRPG mechanics here, just good old-fashioned make-believe and storytelling. We hope you enjoy your stay, and if you do, that you let us know with a review. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's grab something hot to drink and listen to a story. Dear friend, the roof is leaking again, and the stables need new doors after Charlotte kicked one of them down last night, and our shipment of meat is delayed from Trowbridge. Honestly, some days running an inn feels like chasing a kite in a tornado. Nevertheless, people still come and go, and recently I had the most interesting encounter with a young woman looking for her brother that is very much worth telling you. The Inn at the Edge of Greenwood, Book 2, Chapter 6, Two Hearts, Part 1. You've been walking along the road for most of the morning, having pitched a tent and a campsite the night before. Your journey westward across this countryside has been a difficult one from the standpoint of just how open and empty things have been. The last city you were at was several days ago, and it's been, you were told to keep heading west. You would eventually hit the coastal town, but it has been a longer journey than you initially expected. Nevertheless, you've kept your head on a swivel and your eyes peeled for any signs of the one you're searching for. But at this point, it's just been empty but pretty countryside. Now, you've passed various farmers and tradespeople and travelers along the way. It's not a desolate place by any stretch of the imagination. But as you've even stopped and maybe asked around or talked, no one's had any information that's been super helpful for you. That being said, you do, as the sun is starting to come up into its zenith and noontime is approaching, you do see in the distance a little bit of movement of people, and there's a little hill and there's a building set up on top of it. You're not sure if this is a town or a way station or what. It's a little bit far from you at the moment, but there's a little more activity in life than just the solitary farm houses or a couple of travelers that you've passed over the last couple of days. So as you approach and get a little bit closer, do you walk right in or anything else that you do there?
Well, I think that the road has been long and I'm tired. And it seems like a good place to talk to people and, see if anyone has the information that I require. Yeah.
So you walk up and you quickly survey and see that this is sort of a pop-up town of sorts. There's a market set up and people are trading and, selling and buying goods, but everything is off of carts or little stands that can be folded down and taken away the day after. There is just this one building that seems to be permanent, and as you get closer, it's very obviously a tavern or an inn. It's got a fieldstone base with wooden walls. It goes about 2 stories high. There is both a ramp and staircase leading up to the front door, and you look around and kind of see that there's a stables in the back, and you catch a real brief glimpse of maybe like a garden or whatnot, but it seems to be the only permanent structure. As you maybe stop someone nearby and ask them for information, you're very quickly kind of directed towards that inn as far as like, oh, you're a traveler, that's where you should go. The innkeeper might know something. But yeah, I mean, you can press your luck a little bit here with the people in the market, but the first couple that you stop and talk to very politely kind of point you in that direction and then go back to their business.
Well, it seems like that is where I have to go. That the innkeeper may have the information I want.
Okay. You head up that direction, and you can hear inside there are people talking, and there are a couple people coming in and out of the door. As you enter the inn, it is an interesting sensation of stepping into, it's a very bright sunny day outside, and the windows are thrown open in the place, but it's still, kind of dimly lit inside. There's just window light and the fireplace that is off to your left that is going. There aren't any torches or lanterns currently lit. The space itself is fairly large. It's like a big banquet hall style place with high ceilings, big wooden beams cutting across. The fireplace is all the way to the left, past the tables and chairs. There's an L-shaped bar that's right in front of you when you first walk in, and then a coat rack off to your right. And you see probably a half dozen, maybe 8 folks who are sitting and having lunch and drinking. You see a young woman with wispy brown hair tied up into a bun who's working behind the bar and kind of popping in and out of a kitchen in the back, bringing things out. And you see another gentleman who is very thin and wearing an apron that's kind of like a little too big for him and tied around a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's over by the fireplace, and there's a big pot of something that he is stirring, and he's got like a little tray with him that has vegetables that are cut up, and he's tossing them in and stirring this big pot of stew that he's preparing. As you walk in, people take notice of you, but don't, no one says anything. They just kind of look up and look back down. Another traveler coming through. But then the young man who's stirring the pot does turn and just say, "Oh, welcome, traveler. Have a seat anywhere. We'll be with you in just a minute."
Thank you. And Mirriel, I think that you said there was a coat rack.
There is,
and
yeah.
I think, so she takes off her traveler's cloak, and she's had the hood up for most of the time. And in fact, that's how she usually travels, is hiding her face as much as she can. She takes off her cloak, and you see a sort of tallish, sort of a little bit gangly, younger than you would expect, kind of a half-elf woman. And she has long dark hair that's sort of very practically braided down her back. And you see also that for her youth, she has these some pretty gnarly scars. One of them that is on her cheek, and others that you can kind of see on her hands and wrists, or just other surprising places. But most notably, her outfit, while like kind of a typical traveler's garb, is a patchwork, almost entirely, sort of almost like a very colorful patchwork type of fabric that is specifically like the that is well, what's the word I'm looking for? It is very indicative of the people of Argentum, is that they're known for this like sort of multicolor patchwork type of textiles. So Mirriel Brightstar goes to sit down at a table and wait for the young man to come over.
As you sit down and kind of take in the scene around you a little bit more, a couple folks do give you a curious look. Your garments are a little different looking than the norm, but you've been running into that fairly often, and it's not no one ever stares for too long. They just take notice and go back to what they're doing. The young man comes over, wiping his hands clean. He's got a big smile on his face and says, "Welcome. I haven't seen your face here before. I'm the innkeeper here. Can I get you food, drink?"
Both. Yes,
Both.
It's been a long road.
Yeah. What's your preference?
Something strong would be nice.
Sounds good.
And that stew you have over there by the fire seems... it smells amazing.
Right now, it's mostly lamb and tubers and plenty of salt, of course. Still sound amazing?
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? Anything is better than my traveling rations.
Well, hopefully we can do one better than traveling rations. Coming right up. And he goes over and grabs a big wooden bowl and a cup and pours. You see him actually kind of reach underneath the bar and pull out a glass bottle and pour a dark liquor into it, and then goes over and gets some stew out of the pot and brings those over to you. And he said, well, yeah, one moment. He kind of disappears real quick into the kitchen, comes back out with a wooden plate, and it's got bread and butter on it, and sets that in front of you. Are you going to be staying for a while? Do you need a room or anything?
Well, perhaps you're the person that I should be speaking with, but I was told that the Innkeeper may know about the movements of people in and out of this area.
They give me too much credit. I will try to help however I can, but he kind of looks out and gives like a laugh, but like there's a little frustration to it, and he's like, everybody keeps just throwing everyone this direction, and it's I'm not an information booth. Anyway, who are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for my twin brother.
Oh.
We look alike, but if you let me think about how my mother used to say. She used to say that if my brother was the sun, I was the moon. And that very much describes my brother's appearance. He has this ray of golden curly hair, bright green eyes, and about my height, perhaps a little taller.
Does he have similar clothing and garb?
Yes, well, not when I last saw him. He was wearing the robes of Ascension then, but he carries a lute with him.
Oh,
he has a voice like an angel.
Huh. Is he a bard by trade?
Well, not by trade, but definitely if he had his way.
I've known the type. I am so sorry, but the person you're describing is not one that I've seen come through these doors. We've had some traveling bards recently, but none by that description, no.
No. Well, I may as well stay a while, though. It has been a long road, but I have tracked his general location to this plane, but he continues to elude me.
To this place, did you say to this plane?
Plane.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you're not from Alson then?
No. I'm from a place called Antares.
Oh goodness! And he
or a plane.
He like leans in and like all of a sudden he kind of was giving you the whole like standing there casually chatting, but kind of keeping an eye and ready to just pull himself away from the conversation whenever. But now he like turns fully towards you and even like bends down a little. And he's like, "Would you mind if I sat for a second? This is fascinating."
Oh no! Of course.
He like immediately pulls the chair out and sits right in, and he goes, "So, this is fascinating. Did you meant to come here then?"
Yes, I purposefully traveled through the veil of that was separating our worlds. I came here.
We have people. So this. Where do I begin? There's so much to this. This kingdom, this world, this plane, whatever you want to call it, tends to things shift a lot here. The planes of existence, the veil between them seems to be fairly thin, and so not enough to disturb life every day, but it happens more often than I think it probably does other places. And we have travelers, for whatever reason, end up at this particular place quite often. From other planes of existence, but this is the fascinating part, they always get here accidentally. You came here on purpose.
Yes, I did. I don't know if my brother came here purposefully or accidentally, but
that's a good point.
My brother is, well, both of us are running from something, and that traveling planes may somewhat rectify the situation, but always not for long.
He goes to say something, and then you hear the woman's voice, the thin, kind of wispy-haired woman's voice from over in the kitchen go, "Henry, I've got more for you." And he's like, can you give me just a minute?
Oh, of course.
He gets up, he's like, "I'm coming, goodness." And he runs back into the kitchen and comes back out with a large bowl with various vegetables that are cut up. He's like, trudges over to the pot, dumps it in, keeps it stirring. You get the idea that this is like a perpetual stew. It just kind of keeps changing with whatever they need it to be throughout the day.
Just like in the old medieval times.
Exactly.
Just keep putting stuff in.
It's one of my favorite medieval tropes that doesn't get used enough. I'm like, I want to try that. But he finishes up, and then a couple other people grab him as he's coming, and he gets new drinks, new food. New person comes in and sits down that he chats with real briefly. But after about 10 minutes or so, he kind of swings back around, and he's got that glass bottle with him now. And he's like, "Would you like another?"
"Oh, yes, please."
Pours you one.
And she takes a sip. Thank you. You've this stew is excellent.
It's pretty good right now. Earlier it was getting a little iffy, but we put some weird. We tried things that weren't.
However you got to this point.
We'll try to write down the recipe here if I can remember it. And he sits back down. "I'm sorry I had to interrupt you, but you said you were running from something. Do you need safe passage? Do you need help?"
And you kind of see now that there's this sort of aura present around Mirriel that you maybe didn't notice before, or perhaps when people look at it, it's sort of like something out of the corner of your eye, like a shifting shadow that you can't quite see. But now, as you see her sitting at the table, it's almost like a sort of a dark blanket around her. It is this sort of aura that flickers in and out of existence, and you're never quite sure what it is or what you saw. And Mirriel just takes another sip and says, "Yes, I don't even know where to begin, but nothing can help me now." Except perhaps my twin.
He looks very concerned and kind of settles into his chair a little bit. He's just like, "Well, I don't mean to press you if you're not comfortable, but maybe if I knew more, maybe I could put the word out, or maybe he has been through here and I'm just not remembering properly. Would you be willing to tell me more of your story?"
Of course. Well, it has been some time since I have told my tale, and in this plane I feel a bit freer, perhaps, than I would back where I came from. But, well, I suppose I should start from the beginning.
It's a good place.
I was born, as I said, in another plane of existence called Antares.
Oh, right from the beginning.
Yes. And I was born to a group, a very isolated religious sect. They called themselves the Pilgrims of Sin. Our goddess was the Lady Sin, the gatekeeper to paradise. Through her, you would find infinity and, well, we'll get to that.
sin as in wrongdoing, or is that...
Well, that is so it's SYNN.
Oh.
But, the irony has not been lost on me. But yes, the Lady Sin, she is a celestial, an angel, and as we thought, the gatekeeper to eternal paradise. And my mother was the high priestess of the Southern Temple. In her youth, she was a bit, before she became the high priestess, she was a bit more rebellious. She had an affair with a traveler, and that was the union from which I and my twin brother were born.
Oh.
I've never met my father, but all I know is that he was an elf, and I carry his surname, Brightstar. And I'm told that I look very much like him. But as does tend to happen in these communities, the circumstances of my birth, and my brothers as well, obviously, since we are twins, isolated us from even the rest of our people.
It's a common but unfortunate tale I've heard. Yes,
we were always I would be remembered as we would be remembered as our mother's shame. A shame that she, in her, even up until her death, that she always attempted to atone for. And so, however, unlike my brother, I suppose I was a bit more... I was always more curious about the world outside of the temple. I always wanted to travel. I wanted to find ancient civilizations. I wanted to read all about them and then go visit the places that I had read about. Sometimes I talked about, what if we got an airship and we just traveled all around Antares? All these places that I had only seen in books.
I relate. I grew up with my nose stuck between pages myself, and
Yes, you do seem like a scholarly type.
Oh, goodness, no. He kind of laughs and looks around. He's like, I am the tavern running type, but
you are curious, and your mind is sharp.
Well, when you work a place like this, I think if you do it right, you have to stay curious, because everybody coming through has a different story, just like you are telling me yours now, and it's one I won't forget, I'll tell you that. But please continue.
Yes. My curiosity and search for knowledge, well, it wasn't, it was looked upon unfavorably by the pilgrimage. We are meant to take the scriptures of sin without question. We are meant to walk the pilgrimage path with our, as you said, a nose in a book, and that book is scripture. And that we are to trust in Our Lady in all things. But I was not like that. And so oftentimes I found that even more so, I was more isolated from my peers. I ended up working in our archival system for some time with an old gnome named Weaver. And those were some of my happiest days, but most of my time was spent amongst these old tomes. But my brother was more of your a perfect poster boy for the pilgrimage, because of course he was. Like I said, if I was the moon, he was the sun.
Are you the older of the two?
Yes.
I figured. He kind of chuckles and looks over towards the kitchen. He's like, younger siblings can be, yeah.
Yes. And because he conformed to the pilgrimage's beliefs and spent much more time than me studying ancient celestial, studying Our Lady, and becoming a choir boy, and even composing hymns for the goddess. That he was obviously more favored by my mother. And so, but he never looked down upon me, though. He always loved my bookishness and my curiosity, and sometimes we even talked about running away together on an airship and maybe even finding our father someday, somewhere on that plane. And so then when we were, 14, 15, maybe, my brother was chosen for the rite of ascension.
That sounds quite serious.
Yes. Well, it was a happy occasion at the time, but I learned the truth not long after. Every year, the Pilgrims of Sin choose amongst them pilgrims that exemplify the highest of the highest of virtue, the highest standards of virtue and talent and piety amongst them. And these individuals, they are chosen then to enter the gate of paradise and to be with sin forever. We never used the word sacrifice, but it was because we saw it as they were getting entrance into the eternal paradise a little early.
Well, I don't want to pass judgment, but that sounds dark. I'm sorry.
Well, at the time we were all elated that my brother had been chosen. It is an honor, and the families of the chosen are treated with great respect and are given extra. They're given gifts and things for many years after, because of the fact that they produced such an exemplary individual. And so at the time, I regret this most, because my brother told me that he had been ascended, or chosen for ascension, and that he was scared, that he didn't want to leave me, and that he didn't want to leave this plane of existence behind. But at the time, I was jealous. I was wishing that I was a better pilgrim, that we maybe could have been chosen together. I was angry that he was leaving me behind, my only friend in the world besides Weaver. And so I told him, I dismissed his fears. And I told him only that a good pilgrim would walk the path into the light without fear in his heart. And that was the last time that we spoke.
So did he die?
No, he did not. Well, let me explain. Ascension, the rite itself is strangely beautiful. They dress in these all white robes, and the Lady Sin appears. She is a beautiful woman that wears blue. She has hair as red as blood, the life's blood, as we would call it, and eyes that are an icy blue. And she would take them to her tower, where the gate of paradise resides. And they disappear, and we have an enormous celebration. But months later, during an assembly, the Lady Sin appeared. She normally does not appear to us outside of the rite of ascension. It is highly unusual. And this time when she appeared, she was different. She was angry and spiteful. She demanded to know where my brother was. And said that he had escaped her. He had run, and that the loss of her canary, she called him, that she would make us pay the price. And then I saw, well, it's hard to, sorry, this part is difficult. No, I just, so suddenly from her back sprouted a single skeletal wing. And then she began to tear the congregation apart, piece by piece. I ran and I hid in the archives, and I could hear my people dying all around.
I'm so sorry.
And then she found me in the archives, and I managed to strike her, and then she grabbed me, and I think she realized who I was. And that was when she made me, I don't know what the word is for it, but I know some places they call us warlocks.
I'm familiar with it. A pact was struck.
Yes. Not mostly against my will. And she told me that she would allow me to live and that she would not make me take my brother's place if I found my brother for her. And then she showed me the truth of the tower and the gate to paradise.
I get the feeling that she's not a celestial.
Well, she is, but a dark celestial. Dark reflection of one. One that takes pride and pleasure in the pain and torturing of others. She showed me the tower And the tower is not a gateway to paradise. It is her personal hunting ground, if you will, in which the Ascended run the gauntlet every year. And she hunts them down and tears them apart.
But then your brother must have made it out of it then.
That is the part that I'm not sure. It seemed like she called him her canary, and that she so enjoyed his singing voice. It seemed that perhaps he gained her favor for some time in a way that the other Ascended did not. And that he survived the horrors, that tomb. But beyond that, she will not tell me anything, and she wouldn't now, especially.
What makes you think that he's here, in this plane?
He's running from her. And she will not rest until she gets back what she considers to be her things, her possessions. If I've learned anything, I know that she is vindictive almost to a fault. And I was able to, with some use of some of my magics, divine that he had left the plane of Antares for this plane, but I could not find his location. And, well, I don't know if I want to find him either.
I was just going to ask, do you plan to deliver him over?
For a long time, I was haunted by the dreams of the tower, of people that I used to break bread with, people that I sang in Celestial, in assemblies with, that were tortured for years inside that tower, were killed in the most gruesome ways possible. The vision she showed me of that place, it is a dark place in my soul. And I was very afraid. But now, I don't know. All I want is if we cannot be free of this curse, then my brother, I want him to be free of it. He has already suffered so much. So I search, but you could say I'm not really looking very hard. And eventually, someday, Sin will grow tired of me, and she will make me take his place. But for now, I amuse her just enough to stay here.
I mean, if you found him, could the two of you run together?
Perhaps. But unfortunately, if we were to do that, I would have to find a way out of my pact. And at this time, I'm still searching for a way.
Yeah, magical promises are a hard thing to break, in my experience.
Yes. And mine, I wish I had been stronger. I wish I had just gone to the tower in his stead, but I was young.
Well, you were young, and you were also raised under lies and false pretenses, and
Yes.
when we aren't given the truth, we can only be responsible for so much of what we do based off of what we know.
Yes.
Now you have the truth.
Yes. But it's too late. But I hope that perhaps the pilgrims of sin will die with me. That no one will ever be subjected to this fate again. But that is a bit of a pipe dream. Because that would require actually killing a celestial, and that is something that I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, if you believe the stories, not too long ago here in this plane, apparently a dark god himself was rebuffed. I've heard of stranger things happening.
Perhaps it's fortuitous that I found myself in this place today, then.
Perhaps there are strong heroes here, but well, let me ask you this. I ask this perhaps against my better judgment, but I may have a way to contact your brother.
Truly.
They're minor magics, but I dabble a little bit, and there is a spell that can send a message great distances. Now, I've never met him, but if you described him well enough, I could try. I don't know if it would work, and honestly, if I don't know that you want me to.
Yes. I don't know. I suppose you could say I'm resigned to my fate now. That I will be forever traveling alone. Well, not truly alone. I'm never fully rid of her. Even though sin does not necessarily live on this plane, she still has her claws dug deep in my soul. And she follows me around everywhere I go. But I think, well, perhaps I could leave a message for him with you.
Of course, if he were to ever come through, I would recognize him based on your description now.
Yes, his name is Gale.
I was just going to ask. Gale.
Yes, Gale Vanderlee. He took my mother's last name. I also was once Mirriel Vanderlee, but when I left the pilgrimage and became Sin's servant, I wanted to, I don't know why, but I remembered the one time that I asked my mother about my father. And that was what she told me, that his name was Brightstar. And so I took his name.
New beginning.
Yes. I don't think I wanted to not have any more ties to that place, which is silly. I will always be tied forever. But, I don't know. It felt right, somehow.
Well, our past is our past. And things happen, and you can't change them, but I, for one, very much believe in being in the future the you want to be. There's no better time to start than the present, and you are Brightstar.
Yes. Yes.
What message would you like to leave him? He actually pulls out like a scrap of paper and a little charcoal pencil.
Tell him that his big sister loves him and that I'm sorry.
Do you want me to point him in the direction you go, or... Or maybe I could always send you that message as well.
Perhaps. Perhaps that is best. I think that at this point, if he wants to find me, it is a death sentence. And I'd rather I would rather run to the ends of the earth. I'd rather keep him far, far away from me. So, leave him that message, but do not tell him where I've gone.
Understood. He folds the paper up and tucks it away. And then gets you more food if you want, but goes back to his duties here running the inn. Cleaning up, waiting on other people, welcoming other travelers. The day goes by and you're given a room for the night. He doesn't ask for any coin in exchange. And in the morning, breakfast and also a small pack of provisions. And he kind of chuckles as he hands it to you, and he's like, you said your road rations weren't so great. Hopefully these are a bit of an improvement, at least for the next few days. If you're headed west, Innaport is about 2 days away, and you'll find opportunity there for sure, and perhaps even passage across the sea to places I'm not familiar with.
Passage across the sea. That... I think I would like to see the sea.
I've been there once. It's a sight.
It's a sight to see, for sure.
Ah, yes, well. I wasn't going to stoop low for the pun, but I'm glad
yes.
you went for it.
Well, I have few pleasures in my life at this point, but puns are one of them.
I respect that.
Yes. Well, thank you for your kindness, and are you sure that I cannot compensate you with some coin? It's just I just have Argentum coin, but it's
I'll tell you what.
Something here.
What's the lowest value coin that you have?
I have the middling argent, and
I will
give you it's like a copper.
Yep, I'll take one of those, and I have a little bit of a collection of pieces from folks who have come through from various realms, and I'll add it there, and that is payment enough.
Yes. Until we meet again.
I hope we do. It was good to meet you. And he gives you your pack, and you make your way. Later that day, the innkeeper is cleaning up around the place, starting to get a new pot of stew boiling, cutting bread, preparing for more people to come, when suddenly the door throws open, and standing in the doorway
is Gale Vandaley.
And that, dear friend, is not the end of our story about these sundered siblings. I will write to you soon with part 2. Till then.